Welcome, guys. It is the, I can't believe I get to say this. It's the last episode of season number 6, episode number 29. Welcome to Fourth and Dirty, folks. The first and only community-driven fantasy football show. I am your host, Jesse. As you can see, we're roasting me today. That's right. This is your chance to take your shots at the commish, the OG. Some might say the GOAT of fantasy commissioning, for sure. We're going to... last week, if you were here, we dissected Adam and Evan seasons. This week, we're going to dissect my seasons so we can learn, become better fantasy football players. That's how you become the GOAT. Thank you for joining me here on this February 25th, the last Tuesday of the month, the last episode of the month of the season. As always, you can find us at the wonderful fourthanddirty.com. That's your central hub. That's everything you need to know about fantasy football right there. Got our episodes, articles. If you're in a custom league with us, we'll be using this website here to take a look at some of these. Check out our community, our team, all of our social links, everything you need right here. You can email the show at fourthanddirty.com, Jesse at fourthanddirty.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That'll be a new thing for next season. At Fourth and Dirty. If you miss us here live on Twitch, it's all good. Get that bad boy edited, uploaded to YouTube and your favorite podcast players like Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, or anywhere like you like to shove an RSS feed. You have your choices. If you're feeling like you had a great season with us, maybe a donation to help round us out. We are a community show, so every dollar you put in helps us. Like, look at this, the Jackie Daytona system. That's something the community came up with. Cementis Listener League. Please like, subscribe, follow, rate, all that good stuff, especially there on Twitch. We're trying to get to the 50 subscribers. You know, we've been taking a break here for a while. But once we get to the affiliate status, guys, not only does it help me get monies, but like we just talked about, every dollar helps. But more episodes can stay up there. I can upload content. You can get more emotes. So it's a win-win for everybody. So, you know, just double check. Maybe you think you're subscribed and you're not. But hit us up. Hit us up, guys. Welcome. I got my Tim Cruzy cooling down, keeping my ice cold beer cold. I feel like I had to get ready because we're roasting me, guys. So gotta get ready to be honest. Look in the camera and be honest. Because there's definitely a lot of this going on.
Never gonna give you
a little
got him!
some of that.
Bruh.
I'm definitely one of these. That's how we learn, guys. That's how we learn. It is episode 240. For those keeping a long count. Oh my God. It's been 240 episodes. I think that's a perfect segue, because remember, for show news, there is no episode next week. That's right, guys. Going on hiatus. Going to take a break. That is not something that Fourth and Dirty has ever done before. We normally would keep just plowing through here. But, you know, sometimes you gotta rest. Gotta take some time off. But we'll be back. Don't worry. We'll be back August 4th. That's right. That's a Monday. On a Monday. We're going to do a sweep week. All right, so we're going to hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that whole week. Give you all the same content that we would normally bring to you during the off season, like coaching changes, free agency, rookie review, divisional series. We'll have guests. We'll have all kinds. Well, there's already, it's crazy. Like, the season's just ending, and there's already new big things coming for next season. So stay tuned. We'll have a countdown. You might see us pop in here or there for some of the big dates that are coming up in the NFL, maybe like the NFL draft, training camps. I don't know. There you might see his game or something, just to have some fun, try out some new things, once we get spinning back up here. But remember, we will not I won't be back here next week. There's plenty of content. Like if you go to YouTube or you go to fourthanddirty.com or any of the podcast players, there's plenty of stuff. You can go back or look at our top 10 in review, see what actually happened with your top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. You can go back and look at the roasts, see what we did right, see what we did wrong. I mean, there's always great content. But it's only 161 days away, guy. Only 161 days away. So don't fret. Fourth and Dirty will be back. The community will continue crushing it as we always do. So stay tuned. All right. Speaking of those key NFL dates, something I wanted to throw in there for shooters. So when you might see us, all right. So the NFL Combine actually starts this week on the 27th. So you can get all jacked up about the rookies and get out of control with the hype because some dude just bench pressed 225 like 20-something times. I know you're like, that's not a big deal. That's a lot. 225 pounds, 25 times. That's crazy. Big, strong. I'm strong. Run real fast, right? You know, those 40-yard dashes. Calm down, everybody. It's okay. Remember, off-season workouts start April 7th, and then the NFL Draft is April 24th through the 26th. You might see us pop around there. Training camps start in, like, mid-July, and then come August, we're right there, baby. We're right there. So it'll go by quick. It usually does, guys. But it wouldn't be Fourth and Dirty if I didn't have some NFL news for you. Gotta use those brakes. Drinks. You're thinking, how could there be NFL news? Of course there's NFL news. There's always something going on. This is why I'm saying we'll keep all this information going for you. The Saints have hired Doug Nussmeier as their new offensive coordinator. He's the former Philadelphia Eagles QB coach. Saints have hired Brandon Staley as their new defensive coordinator. He's the former San Francisco assistant head coach. So we see the Saints they got Kellen Moore, an offensive-minded coach. So that's why I'm not super concerned about Doug Nussmeier over here, even though the Eagles lost another player, another coach. Crazy how they went to the playoffs, lost both their offensive defensive coordinator. Have already lost their offensive coordinator. I guess that's good, but also like bad, you know. It was wild. But the Eagles have promoted Kevin Patullo to offensive coordinator. He was the former passing game coordinator for the Eagles. So since the QB coach was gone, Kevin Patullo gets the nod. The Jaguars have hired James Gladstone as their new general manager. That's kind of crazy, you know, getting the GM after you've already picked a coach. And like, coaches, I figured you might want to go GM first, right? Here's what we want to do. Then get that next guy. Boom, you know, do. I don't know. What the hell do I know? Andy Dalton gets a 2-year extension with the Carolina Panthers. So, you know, just in case Bryson doesn't pan out. And then something to pay attention to here, especially with free agency. There's going to be a lot of spending, a lot of big numbers. Don't freak out, folks, because the NFL salary cap is raising. We just got a range. This is crazy. It's going to go up from the 255-ish area to $277.5 million to somewhere around $281.5 million. So there's this nice big fat 20, almost like 22 to 30-ish a million more per team in salary cap. So that's just going to be absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And, of course, we've got to have our rumors, other news, bad news, before we sign out. QB Matt Stafford has been given permission to seek a trade. Rumors are already abound. I mean, I saw like Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the Rams, so he's like, Matt Stafford, get out of there so I can get in there and run this team right into the ground with Sean McVay. Oh, God, the guys, there's going to be so much rumor, speculation, especially around rookies, and it's just going to be wild. So I just, if you ever have a doubt, come back, listen to this episode, all right here, right now. Right, the roughly, 10-minute-ish mark, 10, 11 minute mark. Don't buy into the hype, all right? Just be patient. Let's just wait for the rookies. Let's just wait till they get on a team, all right? Let's just wait till they get on a team because that's when it actually matters because you're like, all right, they're in a system, or if they're a first-round pick, that matters, all right? But then, you get to, like, round 7, like, well, who gives a crap, right? So just be patient. You're going to see a lot of free agency. Crazy numbers are going to be flying around. I saw something like Jamar Chase's representative was like, he will be the highest paid non-QB in the league by the time we're done with free agency. So that's going to be insane. You see why Bengals already had to franchise tag T. Higgins because of that. Because God forbid they lose Jamar Chase or they have to spend an insane amount of money. They're not going to be able to afford it. Not going to be able to afford it. So just be patient. 4-30 will be back. We'll temper those expectations right, early August, leading into draft season. Those last few weeks of August, early September before the season starts. We'll be there for you. Don't freak out. All right. Well, folks, it's that time of year. Get to rip apart my season. Not my favorite thing. Having to show off the old L's, as it were, this year, guys. Yeah, no, unfortunately,
Got him!
no rings, but that's okay, because you can go and take a vacation, I'm gonna take here, and head over to timcruise.com. Tim's sponsoring our roasting series. If you go to, like I said, timcruise.com, Tim and his team are absolutely great. They've been sponsoring all our main segments through the season. Killed it. Top 10 in review. The roasting series. But they got everything, not just cruises. I mean, that's obviously their specialty. But look, Irish pub tours. Damn near anything you can think of. All right? Look, they got all the hookups with all the best cruise lines. Do yourself a favor. If you fill out the new inquiry form up here, Tim and his team will be able to get back to you. They'll be able to help you out. And I like Tim's team because he's not just travel agent, just there to take your monies, right? He's a travel advisor, and I believe certified. I believe you said that in the chat before. Certified travel advisor. So he's there to give you great information. His team is great. You got Sammy Parks helping out with the Disney vacations, the Universal tickets. They got everything. They got specials going on. So if you head over to timcruise.com, you can get all your travel information. We were talking about, it's funny, last week, Adam and Evan were on, and literally the night before, we were having a family dinner with their family because it was their mom's birthday, and we were talking about cruising, and lo and behold, a familiar figure popped up, and we're like, no, you need to go to timcruise.com because Tim will take care of us. So Tim, we got a bunch of people ready to look out for you. So I'm sending them your way. So I'm selling. Look, guys, it's not just a product I'm shoveling. It's literally something we live over here. Tim, we appreciate you sponsoring the show this season. Looking forward to maybe doing something for season 7. Nothing official yet, but we'll see. Tim and his team are great. All right, gang. Well, let's see. Oh boy. I titled my season as if you ain't first, you're last. Number 2. I don't learn from my mistakes. Oh God. So my best place league is probably the home league. So I went to another championship this season, and then I lost, which is just crushing to know you were you were right there, could have brought a ring home, but nope. Here we are. So taking a look, see here. Let me cue some cool stuff up here. We got good old sleeper to be able to show off for it. So we got the home league. You can see here, I lost 105 to 90.4. It was the worst slow burn of a loss I have probably ever had in my NFL career, my fantasy football career. Just oh my God, just the slow agony of thinking. Cause I got ahead a little bit early, but not as much as I would like. And then Andy it was like everybody shit the bed that week. It was absolutely disgusting. I mean, you can see here, Josh Allen did some good work, but I had James Conner shit the bed. Zay Flowers. Okonkwo did all right and as a fill. And Terry McLaurin, look, Kaimi Fairbairn, 0 points, a kicker again. Go back to this episode last season, and I talked about. We'll talk about it here by what I call my mini dynasty league. A kicker lost me a championship again. Oh God, it's horrifying. Worse knowing is that if I had put in Jalen McMillan, I could have won. 16 more points would have put me right past him. I could have had it. It was right there. I could have had it.
Boo! Boo when you taste a burger. Boo!
Bruh. Got it. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Oof. Just oof. All right, let's see how we got to this disaster. So looking all the way back at the draft. Okay, so I guess you guys need context. So the home league is a 1 keeper, half PPR with custom playoffs. It is 10-man. If you want to follow on the playoffs, you can actually go to 4th-and-3.com leagues and then Tabutsova. There you go. This is our season 11 championship. So we've been doing this for a long time. Why are they why are you not loading, bro? Killing me here. So this is what I talk about the custom playoffs, the shaft. If you lose, you start falling down that direction. Well, what the hell? Well, it's the same thing as going on in Sleeper, but you can follow along there. Like I said, 4th-and-3.com/Tabutsova. So like I said, this is a 1-keeper league. All right. So I had kept Sam Laporta. So that's where I got that Laporta Potty name from. And I was drafting from the 3rd seed because I had lost in the 2nd round. God. And I did win my 3rd place game, unlike Adam did last season. So, had the 3rd seed here. Coming in, like I said, I had kept Sam Laporta for a 12th rounder. Somebody had dropped him. I figured that was an easy keep for the upcoming season. So that's why I decided to keep him. So then I got, pick 8 in a 10-person draft with 10 keepers, guys. So usually like the 10 best players are like gone. It's a little bit different of a strategy. Oh, I'm gonna have to move my head. All right, there you go. But coming at pick 8, Justin Jefferson fell to me, and everybody at the time was a little skittish, and I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I grabbed Justin Jefferson, swinging around. I doubled up on the wide receivers, and I picked Devontae Adams at the time. Crazy to think I could have had maybe Nico Collins at 3, or either Malik Neighbors at 3 over here. I could have picked him up. That would have been crazy. That would have been nuts. But I took on Adams, which worked well enough, as the turn came back around, and it was round 3, and I remember distinctly at the draft, looking across the room at Steven, who was was it Rico? No, it was Steven. And I was talking about how I felt like I had to take a QB here at this turn. And if I didn't take Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, he was going to take him when he came swinging back around. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'll take Josh Allen. He did all right for me last season. No reason not to grab him again, right? Which worked out pretty well. He was the number 2 QB or something like that. But very up and down, inconsistent, especially for those first few weeks, which is really critical. But then I grabbed that Tampa Bay running back, Rachaad White. And I say Tampa Bay running back because as we've come to find out, it was Bucky Irving at the end of the season, who I did pick up on the waiver wire. So, that's why I said they grabbed a good running back there. Came back around, grabbed James Conner, took the shot at my BR for Terry McLaurin, round 6. Then Zamir White, Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson, Chuba Hubbard, Austin Eckler, the Jets, Younghoe Koo, and Romeo Doubs is how I rounded out my roster there. So as you see, more of a wide receiver focus, and then picking up guys who were going to be strong, like RB2s, to kind of float your season. Because that's just, I don't know, that's how I've been playing lately. And obviously, this team, this core still existed as we see here, looking at the final roster. Allen, Connor, still Bucky Irving, but Jefferson, Flowers, McLaurin. The core team stayed with me. I had Rachaad White the whole season. So it was just sort of like those ancillary pieces are really what did me dirty by the time of the end, because I had 3-4 top 10 wide receivers at one point in time. I had 2 top 10 running backs. Like I had a top 10 running QB, kicker, just rolling defenses around. I was just chilling. I went 9-5 in the regular season. I did make a trade, which ended up being very critical, because if we look at Andy's team here, who we'll try to get on once we come back for next season. Devontae Adams is sitting on his team over here. That's right. We did a trade. I traded Devontae Adams away for DeAndre Swift, and at the time I was thinking, oh man, maybe I need a running back. I shouldn't have done the trade. I should have kept the other wide receiver. Probably would have kept me out of trouble, because at least he did okay, better than Zay Flowers or Terry McLaurin. So at least I could have been a bit closer. Good God. Absolutely killed me. But coming into the season, you can actually, if you go back to the little free advertisement for Tim there, if you look at the website, 430.com/Tabutsava, I came in as the 3 seed. So I came in as the 3 seed. I was playing Evan, the number 6. I whooped his ass 155 to 106. Pushed him down the shaft. So technically we were over here playing on this corner, but I shoved him down the shaft. Moved on up. Played Adam, who was the number 2 seed. That's right. What both of the guys on the casting couch the other week. That was me. I put them down. I went, get off of me. 131-92, and then God, just have my team shit the bed like that. And the final week was just so so agonizing. God. All right, well, I ended up scoring 1,553.92 points, which was 4th in the league. I allowed 1,436.46, or second best, baby. Let's go. Let's go. You play me? Get out of my face. During the season, I had the waiver wire. I had added Bucky Irving because Rashad White wasn't doing well. I picked up on that earlier. I did grab Cade Otton. Used him till he ended up falling apart. Tyler Kraft kind of came in towards the end there for me. Jalen McMillan had some useful weeks in there. My worst drop ended up actually being Sam Laporta, guys. I actually had dropped Sam Laporta, my namesake for my team, Laporta potty, and it came back to the explosive diarrhea came back to haunt me. It was so rough those early weeks, and I was just like, all right, dumped it. Went with Cade Otton, and it was doing fine for me. And, of course, somebody else picked him up, and then, of course, lo and behold, comes back to bite you in the butt. Looking at my roster, if we're looking at, next season, keepers and stuff like that, Josh Allen for a 3rd is much better than Josh Allen for a 1st last season, so that's a potential option. Definitely would not do James Conner. I've been leaning towards Bucky Irving because it's for a 12th round pick, so free. I get a top 24 running back, maybe even a top 10er if things go well in Tampa. That's a pretty good one. I mean, Jefferson for 1st, all right, but I can, 9th. Looking back at last season's draft, I might be able to get this up year's hype for Paku Nuku or London, so a solid couple guys there maybe. I don't know. It's a possibility. But wanted to go back to this roster. Maybe I probably wouldn't keep Zay Flowers. Maybe Terry McLaurin for a 6th round pick. That could be a good option. Looking at my bench, I probably wouldn't keep Swift or White or Blackshear. Maybe McMillan for a 12th. That's about it. So I'm kind of deciding between mostly between Bucky Irving, Josh Allen or Justin Jefferson. Those are the 3 best players on the team. Those would be the ones you want to. Those are probably the ones you want to actually try to roll over for next season. I don't like to make this decision too early because that's just insane. I was talking about earlier in the show. If you've got all this hype and all this crazy nonsense going on, and you lock this in now, things change so much from month to month leading up into the NFL season. By the time we get to August, guys, it's gonna be insane. So you gotta temper your expectations, not really get caught up in the hype. Try to find the signal within the noise, if that makes any sense. What if I try to I don't know. It's one of those like this is a tough one. You go to a championship and then you lose, so it's like, well, what can you learn from this? I think the critical probably thing was that your sit decisions make a huge difference. If I had maybe swapped in Jalen McMillan, or hell, even Swift instead of James Conner, I could have had the W. But those are those are hard because you're making decisions based. Don't make decisions based on projections. That's always a hot tip. But you're like trying to use that as like a tool and a weapon, and then you're competing against your opponent who's also starting pretty good players. I mean, look, he had Jamar Chase, George Kittle, Kyrene Williams, Dobbins. So like he had a really good core team, also just crushing it. He was the number 1 seed, so I ended up losing to the number 1 seed. So it's like definitely something to hang your hat on. Try not to beat myself too much up about it. Probably the goal is to go back again next season. I feel like I'm overdue, but I'm like looking over at the banners over here off to the side of the couch, and it was every 4 years, so I guess I got another year to go. Damn it, son of a bitch. 2026? No. I want to be the first 30-time champion in this league. I almost had it this season. I need to. Oh, I'm so hungry now. But in all seriousness, congratulations to Andy for joining me in the ranks of both 2-time champions. Andy's an OG. He's been with us since the very beginning. 11 seasons, guys. We'll be going into season 12. That's right, 12 seasons in that league. We're only on season 6 over here, guys. Like, that's how long before we got started. All right. Well, let's see. Our next best league. I'll kind of blitz through this one because we talked about it a lot last episode with Evan, the semantics the semantics listener league. Well, I guess the next best one really is the Scott Fish Bowl. That was really it's always a cool experience to get the last 2 seasons to get invited to that, and then like kind of working our way up to 1,523 out of the about a little over 3,500 people who get invited to that, which it's like you're like in the 1 of 1%. It's like 0.002 percentile is like our like final rankings. So like we're up there. We're competing, which is really cool. That's a really like big time league and a big like experience. Like not big experience, a big like reality check about like how good of a fantasy player you are, because we're playing with people who are way better than us, like way better. And so like every time we oddly enough we drafted Rock Pit here, the Orlando based Scottfish crew, but it's like, so this is nationwide. They do drafts all across the country. We're just the ones here in Orlando. You can actually try to sign up and try to get it. If you go to bring this computer up here. If we go to Scottfish, boom, look at that. If you go to Scottfish Bowl, scottfishbowl.com. This is all for charity, guys. This is a real legit 503 charity. Look, they're trying to raise money. They donate. You can actually try to sign up for SBF 15. I think they gotta update it here. But no, I think it's under. If you go to sign up, you can create an account. You can try, guys. You can try to get in. It's really hard. It helps if you're a fantasy football analyst, or if you're like a celebrity or an actual NFL player. But you can try. You can kind of try to join the big leagues. They got all kinds of other options too to check out. I accidentally clicked off. I didn't want to really go to that website, but you can actually check out like the leaderboard and cool stuff like that. The playoff picture. I think that's where you can see us having made it. That doesn't seem right. There's way more. You see the rules. But anyways, yeah. Hopefully we get that invite back next season, because that'd be super cool to keep playing with the big dogs, keep learning. It's like we always make these like crazy analysts, and you're like, holy shit, like I don't know jack shit, right? It really forces you to be better. But we talked. If you want more like super duper details about that, I would check out last week's episode number 28 with Adam and Evan. Evan and I share that team, and then we also share our Semantics Listener League team. Just because we got so many people who want to hop in, we try to like consolidate. But you get more information about that league too in last week's episode. But like a real quick, the Semantics Listener League, I like to call them our sister show. They've been with us since the very beginning. So this has turned into, it used to be just a 16-person league, but now it's turned into a 24-person mega league. And if you actually head over to fourthanddirty.com, the Semantics Listener League playoffs are actually on the website. Go to the Leagues tab, Semantics Listener League. This is season 6. That's how long they've been with us since the beginning. There's Travis with his belt. I got to get the new, we got the new picture with the champ Tommy up there, but you can see that. Trav went back, tried to defend his title, came in second. So he was like, same thing as me, just like, oh my God. It would have been crazy if he had repeated. But congratulations to Tommy for taking home the Semantics Listener League Championship. Butt ton of money. You get a cool picture of that belt. So we got to get you up here on the board with the rest of the champs. Our own Adam won early on. See, that used to be, we used to have custom artwork done by Eric Boom. But yeah, so if you want to follow in the playoffs, so like you got to rank in the top 6, pop out, come up here. We ended up, you can see here, Jesse. We ended up doing well. 3 overall in League One, popping out. Got bounced in round 1 again, which has just become like an absolute theme with us in that league, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I hate it. I think we learned something from Adam about it, which is you got to go really hard in the first few weeks of the waiver wire, which is maybe not something I've done in that league, or maybe I'm not being aggressive enough. I think I'm like, oh, okay, I'm okay. So take that what you will, other Semantics Listener League listeners. I'm certainly, one to try to listen to advice when I can, but I don't. From the sounds of it, I think we'll be back for season 8. Tommy will be trying to defend his championship. I got to, damn it. It's probably in that group chat. I got to get that website updated. But if you want more details about how the Semantics Listener League went for us, I would check out episode 28, last week's episode with Evan, because that's another one we share. So I would check that one out. All righty. Well, we like to go in descending order, so things are getting worse as we go, all right? We almost won a championship, did really well on a big tournament, placing up there, getting the playoffs and all that good stuff. Semantics Listener, making the playoffs. Even that's a feat in itself. It's almost ridiculous that we keep getting bounced week 1. But now, oh boy, now it's we're diving down the deep end, guys. So let's go take I always like to talk about this league, and I think I was talking to I got added as a commish to this league this season, and I didn't want to just take over. So it'll be up to them. But there was some interest in maybe having them on the show and the league and that stuff, joining the community and stuff like that. So we'll see. But because I would love to talk about them more. This is a much more deeper strategy sort of fantasy league, and it certainly helped me as a fantasy football player. Last week we talked with Adam, who has a legit dynasty team, and I had an opportunity to join one with the difference last season, and I probably should have just taken it. Damn, it would have been, but I thought it was just one too many, and it's deep commitment. But playing dynasty and more long-term leagues like keeper leagues really gives you a different perspective about the longevity of players and consistency and things that matter more over time, rather than up and down individual weeks. Plus, it helps you work through the hype and stuff like that, because you're all right, who's just super hyped out and who's actually legitimately good players that are worth being on my my dynasty team or my keeper league and stuff like that. So this is a team I took over a few years ago, and I've slowly grinded it up. I've become a perennial playoff contender. I've won a championship. Last season, if you look at this episode, last season I ended up losing in the championship. So this is the one I talk about, losing then. God damn it, it's you're right there. The kicker was the one that ended up taking me out. But this season didn't do as well. I joked yesterday on social media about the Chiefs having a Super Bowl hangover. That is a very real thing. You go up to a championship and you kind of come crashing back down because you're fuck, wasn't I that good? You get in your head about stuff, and that's sort of the luck of the game. So you can't really overthink it. You did a bunch of things right. Maybe you did a couple of things wrong that were difference makers. Sometimes things are completely out of your control, like injuries and just fluke, circumstance. A couple of years ago when the Damar Hamlin died on the field during week 17. You're what the hell is going on there? And depending on your league, there was all kinds of controversy, whether you played in week 18 or pots got split and stuff like that. So just wild stuff you see in fantasy. So try not to take it too hard. The goal is to learn and become better. And that's one of the reasons I like playing this league is the differences in it. And he's been dominating this league for a long time. So he's definitely that's why I know he's a good fantasy player. When he comes in and he came into Striped and started messing that stuff up too. Absolutely crazy. But looking at the what they like to call the Chronic Keeper League, I ended up making the playoffs as the 3 seed. Got bounced in round 1, and then won my 5th place match. So getting 5th place overall in this league, which is okay. That's good. I'll get a half decent draft spot for next season. But so when I say mini dynasty, this is a 12-team, 8-keeper league. 8 keepers. So think about it. That's the top 96 players go. So we don't even do all that stuff. And some of these extra rounds are erroneous anyways. So 8 keepers, top 96. So really, 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 really good players are gone when you start this draft. So this season, I had constructed some trades, and you can see here I had multiple first round picks. I had traded with Theron, all right, and I traded away Cooper Kupp for Terry McLaurin and an additional first round pick. And so I took those 2 first round picks I had. I got Xavier Worthy, Brock Bowers, swung around. I got Austin Eckler, and then it swing. And I also had this extra third from another trade with a tight end situation at Dalton Kincaid a while back. So I picked up Jaden Daniels thanks to Adam and his Biaw and stuff like that. I was like, all right, I'll get out a rusher. And they come back here, grab Dobbins, McLaughlin, Douglas, Romeo Wilson, Taysom Hill, Brandon Aubrey, the Chiefs. And then these last 3 picks actually didn't happen for me because I had literally run out of picks already. So that was just nonsense that I just picked just until they edited everybody else caught up and edited their draft. Because it ends up being 19 players deep this roster. So there's a little bit of, as I call it, mini diners. A little bit of you got to think more long term. You got to build your roster construction a little bit differently because you want to survive a season. And because the waiver wire is absolute butts. But kind of looking at my team here. So I ended up having Jaden Daniels. I made more trades during the season than I needed to. Let me give some stats here while I get the website all freaking picked up here. I went 9-4-1. That's right. I had a tie with Theron in this league. Third seed in the playoffs, like I mentioned. I scored 1,922.29 points, or 3rd overall. Gave up 1,750.52 points, or 6th best. Sixth best? Yeah. So bottom, 4th worst, I guess. No, because there's 12. Yeah. So just literally middle of the road. I want to make sure I got all these drafted players here. Yeah, and then during the season, I had traded Nico Collins away for Derrick Henry and Stephon Diggs. So that was did a lot of trades, guys. You gotta do that. Moving into my draft, I forgot I had kept, just so we're clear, because that trade, I had kept Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, and Dalton Kincaid, and that's why I kind of went with this draft. I went and got another QB, got more wide receivers. Brock Bowers, just in case, and that worked out well. That worked out. That was genius. That was so smart. I outsmarted myself on that one, Brock Bowers. And I went and grabbed Jaden Daniels, and like I said, then kind of filled out my running backs. Got some more wide receivers. The Brandon Aubrey worked out pretty well for me. Top kicker. But during the season, I started having a bunch of injuries and stuff like that, so I had made the trade and traded Nico Collins away for Derrick Henry and Stephon Diggs. The Derrick Henry worked out well. He ended up still, being a top 5 running back throughout the season because, look, DeAndre Swift didn't cut it for me. Who else do we have here? Nick Chubb came back, floundered. J.K. Dobbins was a pretty good pick by me, but Austin Eckler was sort of in and out depending on our situation. And then I picked up crazy stuff like that. I was pretty good at Denver. I switched out early, got some good defenses to kind of carry me, but then it just ended up falling short as you see here during the playoffs. Getting bounced round one. Can we scores? No. This is why sleeper on the computer is so much different than the sleeper on the app. Can we actually look at? Oh, here we go. Week 14. Yeah. Oh. No. We want week 15. There we go. Playoffs. Yeah, so you can see here when I got bounced out of the playoffs, I lost 142.64 to 163.52. So, like, look, Jaden Daniels, Derrick Henry kind of shit the bed for me. Nick Chubb shit the bed. Tyreek Hill shit the bed. McLaurin did all right that week 15. Brock Bowers shit the bed. Keenan Allen, Xavier Worthy, or Fairbairner, Denver defense carrying, almost. But, like, I had, like, Jalen Hurts. Could have gotten a few more points there. But look at, like, my bench. My bench was just butts by this point in time. Couldn't start people. They were out, injured. This is long term, so you're trying to keep, like, I try to keep people for maybe next season. It is what it is. So looking ahead to next season, trying to figure out who I can keep here. If we look at my team, I think some obvious names that pop up. Maybe Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts will probably come with me. I might try to trade one or the other and see if I can get like a first round pick or something like that. The more I've definitely have found, if you're like in Dynasty or something like this where you can trade draft picks, having multiple first rounds is very valuable. Every season, that's what I try to do. I try to get more than one. I only got the one right now. I got the finished fifth, so I'll have the sixth pick. So that's pretty good. That's the pick I had traded for last season. So I'll have a middle of the packy type of guy that I can pick in. And depending on who gets cut, I might be able to get a good like veteran. You never know. I haven't done that recently. I try to go for like rookies and younger guys to like get the groundswell building consistently. Let's say, because early on I didn't always operate like it was a dynasty team. It was once I started operating like a dynasty team and like reading more about that and how that strategy works, that I started having success in this league. So I don't know if that helps anyone else if who starts listening to this league or stuff like that. But I'm probably gonna keep one or the other of those two QBs or both, depending on the situation, and just kind of roll with them. I'll probably keep Derrick Henry to kind of build around. I know he's gonna be older, but he'll probably be like an RB2, so that's pretty good to work around. Or if I can try to trade the old man, I will, but we'll see. I'll probably keep Nick Chubb just because I feel like once he gets healthy here through the offseason, it was rough for the Browns, but the potential, the high side is still there, and I'm not gonna be able to get much for him anymore. So it's kind of like I'm stuck with this right now. That could be sunk cost fallacy, so we'll see. I don't have to make my decisions yet. This is just me thinking out loud. I'll definitely keep Terry McLaurin. Obviously, I would probably, if I'm going to trade a QB, probably Jalen Hurts, try to sell him high, and pair up McLaurin and Jaden Daniels for more like long-term stack attack. Xavier Worthy and Brock Bowers are probably going to stay with me because, again, those are just rookies I just took. Xavier Worthy had a pretty good season. He got more involved as time went on, especially as Rossi Rice was out. And then Rice might actually get his legal thing situated this next season, so he might actually finally miss time, which would definitely be good for me for long term. And then obviously Brock Bowers, especially because Kincaid shat the bed for me. Just get the fuck out of here, bro. Other players I might try to like trade, keep depending on the situation. Tyreek Hill, he's getting older. He's talked about he doesn't want to be in Miami anymore, and we got the whole Tua being injured all the time, so no consistent QB play. Stephon Diggs, it depends on if he comes back to Houston or not, if he's healthy. Maybe J.K. Dobbins, but again, older, less work of less high upside of a running back, and then maybe Kincaid, I can get like an extra second round pick or something like that. If I can't get like a second or a first, I don't really like want the draft picks. I would try to take collateral back, maybe go after some other young players. My team is definitely weak now, especially now after this like bad season at running back. I got really old running backs who have some upside, but I got to get somebody new in there who will actually pop off. But I've made do, as you saw in my draft, with like RB2s following to me, making that work. So I usually try to like get another high upside wide receiver, like a young one. So, Tyreek Hill's aging out. Stephon Diggs is aging out. So I still got, McLaurin and Worthy. But do I keep, maybe like the likes of probably not going to keep Keenan Allen. That would be nonsense, right? But do I keep like a Naeem Westbrook or Keenan? Do you think they're going to get another, QB over there? Probably not. So I don't know. So it's probably going to be out here hunting for wide receivers again. I think I'm good on tight end and I'm good on QB for sure. Those are. I think I got that shit on lock, which is good. At least I got something to build off of, right? Brock Bowers. You need either Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts. Could be great. Could be great. And this league, Theron won. So if we get him on, I'll be able to do an interview with the champion. Probably do it remote because he's still, I think he's still living outside of the home studio area. But he might be joining us. I've heard some rumors. But let's switch it up here to I guess the last league I'm gonna really dig apart here, and this is the one definitely to learn from because it did not go well. I had to salvage what I could from this season just to barely break even. It was rough. I pulled like that's why I called it the Pittsburgh Steelers type of season. Like I like making the playoffs, doing some stuff, but didn't quite bring the ring home. Like I don't want to be like Mike Tomlin. I want to be more like Bill Belichick. I want some goddamn rings. I got a couple, but I need some more. Can never have too much. So this was the Filthy Casuals League. That's right. That's our own my own listener. Our own listener league. Did not go well for me, guys. Did not go well. I did not make the playoffs at all. I just missed. That was the seventh overall. I went 7-7 in this season. Like I said, barely like salvaged something out of it. Barely, just barely. So for those who are interested, this is Evan used to commission this league, but I've taken over since. But it's very QB heavy. It's a half PPR 12-man team. We like to just sort of randomize the draft order and stuff like that, just to kind of keep it all fresh. But this is some of the newer players, like G, my protege, has like heard me say this. I probably say it a lot during like draft season. This phrase right here: you don't win your league at your draft, but you sure as hell can lose it. And this is a perfect example of that. If there is anything to learn about bad drafting and it just horribly blowing up your face, this is the example to learn from, guys. So we just randomize it based on the number of seasons, and I end up with the number 11 pick over here. And this is what I drafted, guys: Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson, Joe Mixon, Mark Andrews, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Austin Eckler, Anthony Richardson, Deontay Johnson, Nick Chubb, Younghoe Koo, the Jets, Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins, and Demario Douglas. Yikes, guys. Yikes. Talk about, this is what I'm talking about. Talk about it blowing up in your face.
Bruh. Got him!
Well, I think
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Please, no! 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 No!
Terrible nonsense. A lot at the time, a lot of this you think would have made sense, but then a lot of it panned out at like the wrong times. Like the Jonathan Taylor round 1 pick getting hurt early in the season, and then just not being there for you when you need him. Garrett Wilson with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. Joe Mixon, popping off, getting injured, then kind of not being good when he come back. Same thing like Mark Andrews, like Amari Cooper, and traded mid-season. I mean, like Anthony Richardson, Like just bad. Like having to wait for Chubb when all these other running backs weren't really, all clicking at the same time. The only good one was like J.K. Dobbins, like deep, just like all right, round 13, hell yeah, I'll take J.K. Dobbins. Oh my God, just oof. And I think something like I ended up starting real rough on this season. Like dare I say is there any way to this is again that crap was sleeper on like the website versus it doesn't on the app you can actually just boop and pull up like your whole schedule and like tell you win or loss, so you can tell if you're building like a hot streak. Very nice and clean, but then on the computer it's all a bunch of nonsense. And you can see Baggy's all amped up. He's like Pops is pissed off. And I am, God damn it, I am. But you see here, Evan had made the 1 seed and then lost on the championship to my boy Glenn. But I was down here, guys. Look, I got the first round 1 win I needed to get out of the Sacco. And then I ended up pooping down over here again. So just 7-7, just done. Just not a good season. Oh boy. So I did do some trading, guys. So that's the thing. It's maybe I should have tried to pivot a week sooner, because by week 4 you got to know whether you're in or out on your draftees. So I knew the QB was messed up. I knew like the running backs and shit were messed up, and I knew I had to figure something out, right? So I kept harassing Jody, and finally ended up getting Josh Allen. I had flipped I flipped Sam Darnold, and it says Cooper. Amari Cooper, really? For Josh Allen? That's what I did. I robbed him. And then later on, I traded Jonathan Taylor for Cooper Kupp, which ended up being a mistake. If I had kept Jonathan Taylor for that back half, oh boy, I maybe could have made a playoff run. But nope. But I did pick up like the likes of like Tajay Spears later on. I picked up a Darnell Mooney during his like heart streak. But like I flipped Darnold into Josh Allen, so that's a good like here's how you like work your way around it. I picked up Kareem Hunt to get some usable weeks out of him. Picked up Freiermuth. So it's like I was able to pivot away. It just wasn't in time enough to make the playoffs, or if I had won one other game, I could have slid on the playoffs and maybe done some damage. But I did have Lad McConkey at one point and dropped him, so that was a real mistake on my part. God damn it! So I ended up this is crazy. Despite my poor record and then like turning around, I scored 1,643.12 points, which was 4th best. All right. And then I allowed 1,687.86 points, or 2nd most. So that's where you saw this like 7-7. It was like I was always like in these super close games. Every week was a goddamn fist fight trying to get a W. And it wasn't really until I got Josh Allen before I started like consecutively putting wins together. But again, like I said, it was too late. It was too late.
Got it!
We talk about like what you talk about again. What can you learn from this? Please, I hope if I'm not learning from it, please listen to me and I'll tell you don't do these things. These will mess you up. Oh God, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Honestly, this one is more embarrassing and like it hangs on me more than the championship loss. The championship loss, it's like okay, like I've been there, I've done that. I've also won, like Tom Brady. So it's like, all right, it is a part of the process. You can't control all of it. It's like find the good repeatable things that'll bring you back there. Like, don't buying too much into the hype. You gotta do some research, but don't go too crazy. All right, but you gotta pay attention. You can definitely lose your league at your draft, like you see here. All right. If you don't learn from your mistakes, at least learn to pivot. For God's sake. Work the waiver wire. Might have to do it early and often, especially if you get some guys wrong. And then pay attention. Because I think that's the biggest difference in anything, is getting out there, paying attention, seeing what's going on, and starting a team every week. will do more for you than anything in fantasy football. Than anything. Oy vey. Well, all right, guys. That wraps up the roast of the commish, Jesse. Looking at some of my seasons. I've got plenty more, but we don't need to get bogged down in all the weeds. Some of them are what we would call best ball leagues. Doesn't really matter. It's mostly just for like understanding like draft rankings and stuff like that. And then for those who don't know, best ball is literally like it doesn't really matter who you start because it'll always put the best score possible up there. So I don't really like care if I win or lose or what anything happens. Those are literally just for draft. I do like dozens of those. So when you're like, oh, I'm in like, yeah, somebody leaves them, and I'm like, I guess I'm in like 20 something because I have all those leagues, but they're not worth digging into in any way, shape, or form. Like these ones that I show you guys, I kind of like narrow my selection down to the ones that I think are super important, and the ones that kind of toot my own horn every once in a while. The ones you're doing well and whatnot. So at least you can get a good insight on what the hell I'm thinking before, during, and after the season. Hopefully it helps you guys. But with that all said, guys, that wraps up our season. Thank you so much for sticking with us. If you haven't heard by now, we're doing something different. Fourth and Dirty is all about doing something different, changing things up. I'm not afraid to mix it up. But we're going a bit on a hiatus. We'll be following the old NFL Red Zone sort of thing. We'll be taking a few months off, kind of chill out, relax. So there won't be a show next week, guys. There'll be no show next week. We won't be officially back, season 7. All right, season 7. We already got new surprises. Maybe a new sponsor. More leagues, for sure. I've already heard some. So Fourth and Dirty will be back better than ever. We're gonna do a sweep week on starting August 4th, so Monday through Friday. We'll have all those same shows and all the content we do during the off season, looking at rookies, so rookie review, free agency changes, coaching changes. We just look into our divisions. We go team by team, looking at all the fantasy gold you can find. You can always find something on every NFL team. There's always fantasy gold somewhere. So we'll have all that good information for you. You can still hit the show up during the off season if you want. You can email the show at fourthanddirty.com or Jesse at fourthanddirty.com. I'm always happy to answer any questions, especially if you got like dynasty questions, because I know a lot of dynasty leagues draft right after the NFL draft. You might see us pop in and do a quick little stream just for fun for the draft season. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling here in April. You can also hit us up on the social medias at Fourth and Dirty. Or as always, you can hit the fourthanddirty.com, the website. All the stuff's there. The episodes, articles, leagues, community notes, all that good stuff. All those social links and emails I talked about. If you miss us here on Twitch, no stretch, because I know what's going to happen is this episode is going to disappear on Twitch, and you'll be like, what the hell happened? You can find it on YouTube. It'll be on all your favorite podcast players like Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, or anywhere you like to stick an RSS feed. If you want to donate, that helps a lot. We are a community-driven show, so every dollar legitimately helps. Please like, subscribe, follow, rate, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everyone you know. Fourth and Dirty will be back in 161 days. 161 days for sure. That's right around the corner. Well, I guess it's actually not that far away. It's basically already March. Before you know it, the NFL season will be here. We'll be back better than ever. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. You can find me on the social medias at Madonna Jesse, at Jesse Madonna. I'll probably be seeing some of you community members around while I'm vacationing and chilling out. I'm not doing this every day.